Hello debutantes! On today's episode of Kelly Cooks, we're going to be making a chicken recipe from this cookbook that I recently bought at a thrift store. I forgot to include it in the haul because I was just going through it, loving all the recipes. So this is Modern Hospitality, Simple Recipes with Southern Charm. It's written by Whitney Miller and it says she was the winner from season 1 of Master Chef. Of course, the Southern called my attention as soon as I saw it at the thrift store. And let's see if I can find the recipe right here. We are making butter and herb roasted chicken. Here is a picture and here's the recipe. I will include the recipe in the description down below. So let's go ahead and get started on this wonderful chicken recipe. Alright guys, so I kind of got started on the recipe already. What I've done in the baking dish is I've cut up onions and carrots, and that is going to be the bottom of our baking dish. We're going to put the chicken on top, and this will actually flavor the gravy. The last thing I have to do is go ahead and put the garlic in, and it just says, I hope you can see this, to just take the clove of garlic and smash it with your knife like that, just so you open it up to release those flavors. And we're going to put that in the pan as well. The next, I have to take this nasty chicken. It's not nasty, I just don't like raw chicken. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this on top of these vegetables, put some salt and pepper on it, and then we're going to coat it with the herb butter, which is what we're going to make next. Alright, so for the herb butter, it calls for 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. So I just cut off a piece and brought that to room temperature. You need 1 garlic clove minced, and minced just means a nice tiny chop. We're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh sage. Can't say that. It's a tongue twister. 1/8 of a teaspoon. Wait, no, a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh rosemary and 1/8 of a teaspoon of thyme leaves, 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt. I'm going to use my pink Himalayan salt, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and do those things, but I thought I'd show you how I chop up my herbs, because some people I know watch my videos who are beginning cooks. So let me see if I can get that in the frame. Now this calls for 1/2 teaspoon of chopped sage. I'm going to eyeball this. I do want to have a herb garden, but right now I have to buy these expensive herbs in the produce department. So I'm just going to pull off like 3 leaves. I think that will be enough. So I have 2 big ones and 1 kind of small one. Now I'm just going to kind of roll these up like that. Okay, what do I do with my knife? I washed my knife because I cut some of the extra skin off of the chicken, so I wanted to use a nice clean knife. So now my sage is all kind of rolled up, and now I'm just going to give this a kind of a fine little chop. And the rolling just helps you can cut all 3, and it gives you kind of a thicker area to chop. So there's my, there it is, kind of chopped up. I'm going to chop it up a little finer just by dragging my knife through it like so. I changed out my cutting board as well because I had cut the chicken on it, and I didn't really want to use the dirty chicken cutting board. So there is my sage. No, I didn't measure. I always eyeball this type of thing. Now rosemary. I actually learned how to cut rosemary by watching the Barefoot Contessa's channel, and she takes a stalk, if I can get it out, that's kind of a big stalk, of rosemary. I'm not going to use all of this. Okay, let me move this out of the way so I can show you. So you have your rosemary. It's just like a stalk of rosemary. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab the top of your rosemary and you're going to drag your fingers down the stalk, and that will release most of those. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. You see that? So now it's a lot easier to chop up that rosemary than trying to get it all off that stalk. So again, you just grab it and you drag your fingers this way, and it all comes off. And I'm just going to chop that up a little bit, make that a little finer. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of that, and then thyme leaves. I only need 1/8 of a teaspoon, so I'm not going to need that much. And it's basically the same exact process. You just kind of drag your fingers right off there, and it just pulls that herb right off of there, so you can chop that right up and put that into your butter. So I'm going to chop up this rosemary and this thyme and add it to our butter, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so we have our butter. It's just waiting for all of our herbs and seasonings. There is 1 clove of garlic minced, that's a tiny chop, a half of a teaspoon of chopped fresh sage, a 1/4 teaspoon chopped fresh rosemary, 1/8 of a teaspoon of fresh thyme leaves, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, I use my Himalayan pink salt, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. So now we're just gonna put this in there, and like I said, we're making an herb butter. And what we're gonna do with this once it's done is we're gonna rub it underneath the skin of our chicken, on top of our chicken, which is gonna make it a nice golden brown. And this is what is gonna flavor those chicken parts. I think this herb butter would be really, really great for a Thanksgiving turkey. I might make a little bit more of this. I think I use a whole stick of butter to season my Thanksgiving turkey. So we're just gonna get this all nice and mixed. I'm just using a spoon because I like to use the back of a spoon to mash it all and get it incorporated. So I apologize for the noise. My husband is mowing the grass and my Bella is snoring right outside of my camera. So here's our herbed butter. I'm gonna go ahead and put my kitchen cooking gloves on, and I'll show you how we go about putting this under the skin of our chicken and rubbing it all over the chicken. All right, so all I've done is I've laid the chicken out on top of those vegetables. It did call for celery, but I didn't have any celery, so I just used the carrots, the onion, and the garlic. I have put on my Playtex Clean Cuisine gloves. No, this is not a sponsored video. I just really, really love this product. I think it's great, especially if you don't like touching raw meat. So I have our herb butter, and now what I'm gonna do is, here's a nice big breast. I'm just gonna kind of stick my fingers in there and just pull that skin away. See how I can get my fingers right underneath that skin? It's still attached, but I can get right underneath it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of our herb butter and I'm gonna slather it all inside. Just rub it all onto that meat, get it nice and coated, and then go ahead and coat the outside. Obviously, I got the wrong size gloves the last time. These are large. I probably needed a medium or small. So if you guys buy your gloves, make sure you check on that size. I have freakishly small hands and wrists for such a large person. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue doing this to all of the chicken. Just like I said, get in there, get that skin loose, and then just add that butter inside. I'm gonna make sure I get it good and coated. I'm gonna get all of the butter that's on my gloves off of my gloves and onto my chicken. So this is probably gonna take me a little bit of time to do, but this is an important step. This will make it nice and moist, and this will definitely flavor the gravy that we're gonna make. So just make sure you get all that butter, get it coated. So let me go ahead and finish this up, and then we're just going to go ahead and put this in a 400-degree oven for about an hour. If you have a meat thermometer, go ahead and put in a big fatty piece of chicken and make sure it gets to 165 degrees, but it says it should cook for about 1 hour at 400 degrees. All right, guys, I forgot a step, one of the most important steps, because I was so in a hurry to get all that good butter on the chicken. The last thing you have to do before you put this into your 400-degree oven is you need to add 1 cup of chicken broth. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in there. And this, again, is gonna help with that gravy. It's gonna taste amazing. So get that all in there, and now the chicken is ready to go in the oven. I just took it out of the oven. It cooked for a little over an hour. It's kind of golden brown. You can see the sauces are bubbling up. It looks yummy, yummy, and it smells amazing in my house. So now I'm gonna take the chicken and I'm gonna put it on a serving platter. I'm gonna throw the vegetables away, and we need to reserve 1 cup of the liquid. So let me go ahead and transfer the chicken, get rid of the vegetables, and we'll move on. So I got rid of the vegetables. Now I need to take the liquid and strain it. I need 1 cup of the liquid to make the gravy. So I'm going to try and be brave and lift this very hot, heavy pan over the strainer. And that is a little over 1 cup of the liquid. And you see all those little bits. So now we're going to transfer the liquid into a medium saucepan and simmer it. So I have my medium saucepan ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put it on like medium high. I'm going to transfer that liquid in there and let that cook until it's bubbling, and then we're going to add some flour and we're going to get started on our gravy. Okay, this is where this recipe could completely go south for me because I am not a great gravy maker. So we're just going to go ahead and follow the instructions. I've heated up the chicken broth. It's got a little bit of a bubble to it. Now I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I just put 2 tablespoons in this cup because it was easier to show you. And then we're going to stir this in until it thickens, about 3 to 4 minutes. So say a little prayer that the gravy turns out well. The flour is a thickening agent, and you want to make sure you get all those clumps done. If you think it's getting too thick too fast, you can add a little bit of water. I just have some right here. Sorry, we're going to super zoom, just in case it gets thick. So I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring this for 3 to 4 minutes. Cross your fingers that it turns into gravy. Okay, I am super excited. Look, it's gravy. It's nice and thick. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit longer and let it get thick. So while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and plate this recipe and show you how I'm going to serve it. So here's the recipe all ready to eat with a nice big glass of sweet tea. I like the dark meat, so I have a thigh and a leg, some mashed potatoes, and some leftover broccoli. I just poured the gravy over the chicken and the potatoes. It's got a few lumps in it, but nothing that's, I don't know, I think it's fine. I think it'll be tasty. So there is our herb butter roasted chicken. All right guys, I just finished eating that fabulous chicken recipe. It was so good. Even the gravy was good, and I am not a gravy maker. So thumbs this video up if you like Kelly Cooks. Please try this recipe, and if you do, let me know how it turned out. So again, thanks for watching this channel. I hope you subscribe if you have not, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye guys.